Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Vallabha, Radha Vallabha Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra Devi. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Bhaktivedanta Swami, Prabhupada, Jaya Bhaktivedanta Swami, Prabhupada. Nithai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nithai Gaura Hari Bol. Nithai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nithai Gaura Hari Bol. Gaura Premanandi. Jaya Om Vishnupadaya Paramahamsa Parivarakracharya Astotara Abhaya Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Founder-Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri 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 Jagannatha Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Shri 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 Gaur Nitai ki jai. Shri 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 Radha Vallabha Bhagavani ki jai. Shri Narasingha Bhagavan ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. That's it. That's playing up. It's great. It has to go up. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 6th canto, chapter 9, entitled The Appearance of Demon Vritrasura, text number 42. So this series of verses is in prose format, and therefore we need not have to repeat, okay? I read once, and then we will continue with the word-to-word translation. It's quite difficult too. So, Ata Bhagavanstava Smitabir Akhila Jagat Utpati Shritilaya Nimitaya Mana Divya Maya Vinodasya Sakala Jiva Nikayanam Antar Hridayesu Bahir Apicha Brahma Pratyag Atya Swarupena Pradana Rupena cha Yatadesa Kala Deha Vastana Vishesham Tad Upadano Palam Bhaktaya Anubhavataha Sarva Pratyaya Shakshina Akshaya Sharirashya Shaktat Parabrahmana Paramatmana Kiyam iha vrata vishesha vigna paniya yes vishpulingadibir iva niranya ritashaha. It's a bit hard. Okay, we'll see the word to word. Ata, therefore, Bhagavan, O Lord, Tava, of you, Asmabi, by us, Akhila, all, Jagat, of the material world, Utpati, of the creation, Sthiti, maintenance, Laya, and annihilation, Nimittayamana, being the cause, Divya Maya, with the spiritual energy, Vinodasya, of you, who amaze yourself, Sakala, all, Jiva Nikayanam of the hordes of the living entities. Antahridayesu in the course of the heart. Bahiyapi externally also. Cha and Brahma of impersonal Brahman or the absolute truth. Pratyakatma of the super soul. Swarupena by your forms. Pradhana Rupena by your form as the external ingredient. Cha also. Yata according to. Desa Kala Deha Avasthana of country, time, body and position. Vishesham the particulars. That of them. Upadana of the material causes. Upalam Bhaktaya by being the exhibitor. Anubhavata witnessing. Sarva Pratyaya Shakshina the witness of all different activities. Akasha Sharirasya the super soul of the whole universe. Shakshat directly. Parabrahmana supreme absolute truth. Paramatmanaha the super soul. Kiyan of what extent. Iha herein. Va or Artha Vishesha special necessity. Vigna Paniyaha to be informed. Syat maybe. Vishpulinga Adibi by the sparks of the fire. Eva like. Hiranya Reshataha to the original fire. Such a big purpose, such a big verse, very difficult to pronounce either. Okay. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. O Lord, as the small sparks of a fire cannot possibly perform the actions of the whole fire, we, sparks of your Lordship, cannot inform you of the necessities of our life. You are the complete whole. Therefore, of what do we need to inform you? You know everything because you are the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, the maintainer and the annihilator of the entire universal creation. You always engage in your pastimes with your spiritual and material energies, for you are the controller of all these varied energies. You exist within all living entities, within the cosmic manifestation and also beyond them. You exist internally as Parabrahman and externally as the ingredients of the material creation. Therefore, although manifested in various stages, at difficult times and places, and in various bodies, you, the personality of Godhead, are the original cause of all causes. Indeed, you are the original element. You are the witness of all activities, but because you are as great as the sky, you are never touched by any of them. You are the witness of everything as Parabrahman and Paramatma. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, nothing is unknown to you. Purport. The absolute truth exists in three phases of spiritual understanding: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Saptyate. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is a cause of Brahman and Paramatma. Brahman, the impersonal absolute truth, is all-pervading, and Paramatma is locally situated in everyone's heart. But Bhagavan, who is worshipped by the devotees, is the original cause of all causes. A pure devotee is aware that since nothing is unknown to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he need not be informed of a devotee's conveniences and inconveniences. A pure devotee knows that there is no need to ask the absolute truth for any material necessities. Therefore, while informing the Supreme Lord about their distress is being attacked by Vitrasura, the demigods apologized for offering prayers for their safety. A neophyte devotee, of course, approaches the Supreme Lord for relief from distress or poverty, or for the speculative knowledge of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 7.16 mentions 4 kinds of pious men who begin devotional service to the Lord. One who is in distress, Artha. One in need of money, Artharthi. One who is inquisitive, Jignasu. And one is searching for the absolute truth, Jnani. A pure devotee, however, knows that since the Lord is omnipresent and omniscient, there is no need to offer prayers or worship Him for one's personal benefit. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord without demanding anything. The Lord is present everywhere and knows the necessities of His devotees. Consequently, there is no need to disturb Him by asking Him for material benefits. Now, today what we do is, we read verse 42 and 43 in conjunction. Yeah? Then we can explain further. So I'll read the translation directly. Dear Lord, this is for verse 43. Dear Lord, you are the omniscient, and therefore you know very well why we have taken shelter at your lotus feet, which provides shade that gives relief from all material disturbances. Since you are the supreme spiritual master and you know everything, we have sought shelter of your lotus feet for instruction. Please give us relief by counteracting our present distress. Your lotus feet are the only shelter for the fully surrendered devotee and are the only means for subduing all the turbulences of this material world. Purport, a short one by Srila Prabhupada. One need only seek shelter of the shade of the Lord's lotus feet. Then all the material turbulences that disturb him will be subdued. Just as when one comes under the shade of a big tree, the disturbances caused by the heat of the scorching sun are immediately mitigated without one asking for relief. Therefore, the whole concern of the conditioned soul should be the lotus feet of the Lord. The conditioned soul, suffering from various turbulences because of existing in the material world, can be relieved only when he seeks shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Guruve Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahim Tadati Sva Padanti Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. So here, the demigods headed by Indra, they are going through suffering, turbulences in life. Do all of us have turbulences and suffering in our life? Yes? Anyone says no? Yes. We all have to go through the turbulences, sufferings in the material world. That is why it's created for. In short, Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. Here we see Indra, the king of heavens, is going through the problem. Terrible distress for him. Let us see what kind of problem and why he is suffering. What's the reason for that? Indra, the king of heavens, very, very powerful personality. Yeah? Indra, please remember or please take note that Indra is not stupid. Indra is not a clown. He is a king of the demigods. Yes, he is a student of, is a disciple of Brihaspati, the guru of the demigods. You know how powerful he is? He knows all the Vedas better than any one of us in this room. Very powerful. And his lifespan is also very huge compared to us. Yeah? Very powerful personality. But that personality is suffering today. According to the Bhagavatam verse today. I mean now, you can say. What is the reason? Going backwards, chapter 7, he did a small offense. Relatively a small offense. In chapter 9, he did a serious offense. Okay, let us see what he did. Indra, once upon a time, when Indra with his wife was sitting on the throne, because he's a demigod, he's a king. What do you expect from a king? You don't expect a king to sit in the corner of the room. So he was sitting on his throne with his wife, and he was receiving all the offerings, glorification by his assistant, demigods, various demigods. As he was engrossed, see, sometimes we also do that. When others talk, oh, today your class was wonderful. Your cooking was very good. You did wonderful. Then, then maybe our Guru Maharaj may be passing by. We will not notice. It's a similar situation. So everyone was glorifying Indra. His wife, he was hearing, yes, I did that. And then, incidentally, his Guru Maharaj was also coming, Brihaspati. But Indra, just a moment of neglect, you can call, or being disrespectful for a moment, just for a second, or you can call it as an offense, or a minor mistake, whatever you want to call. It is a minor category, okay? Just unnoticed. Or because he was receiving, out of pride you can say, he was receiving, and then probably his Guru Maharaj was going little bit unnoticed, and he was going, and by the time he realized that the Guru Maharaj has gone, he has not properly received him. What was the reaction? His Brihaspati knew, Indra has not treated me well. Therefore, I have to teach him a lesson. So what did he do? His Guru disappeared. And he could not be seen. Immediately, Brahma realized, I've done a mistake. He realized his mistake. And he was looking for his Guru Maharaj. But what happened? He could not locate him. Indra knew, yes, there is something for me, for sure. I'm going to get something. He knew. Okay? Then, what did he do next? He took all his demigods, and obviously, whenever Indra is in problem, he will go to his immediate boss. He will not go directly to the temple president. When there is a problem, you have to go and approach. These are all the lessons we are learning from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Okay? Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is an instructive subject, teaching us what we should do, how we should do, in what situation, how we have to act. Yeah? That is why we are studying Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, isn't it? So it's an instructive lesson for all of us. So, Indra, with all his assistant subordinates, went and approached Lord Brahma. Please, I have done a mistake. Brahmaji, please help me out. What should I do? Then Brahma is all-knowing, very powerful personality, the secondary creator of this world. So, what he did, he said, okay, Indra, you've done an offense and you're repenting for it. And therefore, I suggest you go and approach Vishwarupa, who is a son of Twesta, very advanced devotee, and Vishwarupa is an advanced Brahmana. He knows all the Vedic scripture. Not like us, learning bits and pieces for the classes. It's not like us, very advanced Brahmana. So, he approached Vishwarupa. Although Vishwarupa was junior to them, he accepted, fine. Lord Brahma has requested, I'll accept the position. And Vishwarupa accepted to become the priest of the Yes, all are listening. Very good. Yes? Then, what happened? In the meantime, in the demons, they worship the Guru Maharaj. Who is the demons' Guru Maharaj? Yukracharya. They worship and they become very powerful. One who worships the Guru will be very powerful. And so, what they did, they became powerful. They conquered the demigods. And Indra lost everything, including his throne. Now he is no longer a king. He lost all his opulences. Just being little bit disrespectful, or you can say in one sense neglectful of his guru, which is a minor offense. I put it a minor because the one who is going to do is a serious offense. So therefore this comes under a little bit of minor category. And therefore he has lost his wealth. Look at this. An offense committed to a devotee, he has lost his wealth. Then Vishwarupa, being the priest of demigods, is a nice Brahmana. So he did a yajna. And then through the yajna, he gave what did he give? A shield. What is a shield known as? Narayana Kavacha. He gave it to the demigods. And through that powerful shield, they conquered back the demigods. Okay? My apologies. Demons. They conquered the demons. Now I'm testing whether you're listening or not. Yes? So they conquered the demons and it was all right. So Indra knew, fine. I did a small offense, I got a reaction. But did he learn? Did he learn, Indra? Probably not, because we're going to check. Then, in this chapter 9, what happened? Because Vishwarupa was Indra's priest, okay, he has to do yajna from time to time. Once, when Vishwarupa was performing yajna, what did he do? He secretly offered oblations or remnants of the yajna to the demons because he was bodily related to them. Indra came to know about this. And what did he do? The last time, it was subtle. Because, can someone offer Aniruddha Prabhu a vyasana, please, for him to sit? Last time, when the offense was minor, due to neglect or disrespectful of the Guru, his whole opulence was ruined and Indra did not learn. So this time, he has got one level more. That was a subtle level. Now this is a gross level. What did he do? Incidentally, Vishwarupa has got 3 heads. Okay? Imagine, so it's very... What did he do? He cut all the 3 heads of Vishwarupa, which is a very serious offense. And what happened? What happened next? Indra regretted again. Oh, I have killed a Brahmana. Then I am going to suffer. The reactions are going to come. The material world, every action, Newton's third law is also correct. See, to every action there is opposite and equal reaction. See, there is reaction going to come. So he again repented. He did nice chanting, Hare Krishna mantra, he did, but still there were a lot of sufferings for him. Then what he did, he distributed his sufferings for the different categories. To who all did he distribute the offenses to? One to the land, and then to the trees, and then to the ladies, and then to the water. So he distributed. Yet, there were some remnants of suffering for him. So what is that? That is what we are going to see in chapter 9. Consequently, the father of Vishwarupa, he was not keeping quiet. He knew, how dare is Indra to kill my son? And therefore, he did a yajna to get a personality to kill Indra. Okay? Now what happened in the yajna? Twasta is supposed to chant a mantra correctly, and the mantra means, when you chant this mantra properly, he wanted to increase the enemies of Indra. But what did he do? He chanted some mantra incorrectly, like how I did now. But because the Lord is kind, he will forgive us. Yeah? So what happened? Because he chanted this mantra incorrectly, what happened? Rather than increasing the enemies of Indra, the yajna produced a demon and Indra became his enemy. You see? Therefore, dear devotees, all of you, please read the Maha Mantra. It is not Ramo, it is Rama. Correct? Does it say A or a O? I see many times. Please take it in a nice manner. This is not trying to criticize you. Yeah? Or to find your fault. Take it in the right way. We don't know. There may be a demon like Ramo who will attack you. So therefore, we want the Supreme Lord Rama. Okay? Please be conscious when you chant. Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. But all of you are chanting nicely. But when they sing, no, Ramo is coming. Especially when the singers, when they sing, okay? Ramo, I don't know. Please, it's Rama. Okay. Just a correction for ourselves, okay? So, Vritrasura is created because of Indra's problem. Because Indra created. Because of Indra's it's just as a punishment for Indra, Vritrasura was created from this yajna. When Vritrasura emerged from this yajna, he was a fierce-looking demon. Agree? Have you seen a fierce-looking demon? No. Now you can see the picture of Vritrasura, okay? Very fierce-looking. And all of them were terrified. The demigod started going in fear. That's a personality, huge personality, Vritrasura. So, last time, when Indra did a small offense, what happened to him? Neglect. His opulence was ruined. This time, he is about to die. See, when the offense is serious, the nature of the problem also increases. This time, how did you know that he is going to die? How did Indra know that really, if I don't surrender to the Lord now, finished, I am gone. How did he know that? How did he know that? That is mistake he repented, but through the action he's seeing, because Indra's ultimate weapon is thunderbolt. That is the ultimate, okay? Now he threw, what did Vitrasura do? He just caught it, he broke it and threw back on Indra. Then he said, finished, I am finished. Gone. It's the last one. He used all his weapons, no more. And therefore, what are the demigods doing now? They have lost everything. There is no other shelter for them except the Supreme Lord. They knew if I go to Brahma also, he's going to suggest the same thing. Rather, we'll go directly to the Supreme Lord. Let us not waste time. That's what we should do. We should immediately come to Krishna and surrender unto him. That's the best and the easy way. So, going 2 verses before, what's happening in the verse 40 is the demigods are pleading to Krishna, please take some form. In the past you have taken so many forms as an animal, as aquatic, half man, half lion. Why can't you take some form and kill this great demon Vitrasura? They're talking in verse number 40. In 41, what do they say? We are surrendered unto you, Lord. Please be merciful. That's 41. 42 and 43, they're saying, you know what is going on. You also know what we need. So please help us. That's no one else. They're pleading to Krishna. Please help us. Okay? So this is the verse. That's why I said, today we read verse 42 and 43 because they are pleading for help. This should be read in conjunction. This should be read in conjunction. Why is that? Because in unveiling what? In unveiling is Lotus Feet by Burujana Prabhu. In Canto 5 and 6, Burujana Prabhu has combined these two and is giving the purport for that, giving the explanation. And therefore I thought, why not we combine these two as well? And that makes sense too. So for the two, he said, yes, they're pleading to the Lord and asking the Lord for merciful. So therefore I combine these two. Yeah? So now we'll start the lecture. So we got the context, yeah? Prabhu, because without the context we can't start. Okay. Now, what's happening is, in the verse 42, Srila Prabhupada gives a very beautiful analogy in 43. Purport. What is the analogy Srila Prabhupada is giving? In the purport of verse number 43. Anyone? We read just now. That is 42. 43. He's saying, when someone is going through a scorching sun, okay? Scorching sun. This is summer in India. It's very hot now. So in scorching sun, when you go, you feel so, devastated, suffering. But when you find a big tree with shades, what you do? You naturally go into the shade of the tree. You don't ask the tree, please give me shade. Naturally. You need not have to ask for it. The tree naturally gives shade. In the same way, oh Lord, if one surrenders to you, naturally, you need not have to ask. Naturally, the Lord gives protection. This is the nature of the Lord. So, Prabhupada is giving a beautiful analogy, explaining how a person gets naturally protection from the Lord if one surrenders unto him. Yeah, that's the one. Then also, Uddhava, the Lord's great devotee, in 11th canto, 19th chapter, 9 verses, what is Uddhava saying? Similar to this effect. He says, oh Lord, the living entities, the conditioned living entities, on one hand, they are going through the terrible path of birth and death. On the other side, they are tormented by the threefold miseries of nature. What is that? Adi Bhautik, Adi Atmik, Adi Daivik, cold. They are suffering. They're going through. But yet, For them, there is no other shelter other than the Lord's lotus feet, which is like an umbrella, which is constantly spraying shower of delicious nectar. So Radha Vallabha's lotus feet is constantly spraying. What is it spraying? Delicious nectar. It gives. If one wants to surrender, one can experience that. Yes, one can experience surrender. This is what the lotus feet of Krishna is giving shelter found. Constantly giving nectar. And therefore one will not know the suffering. Either side the living entity is harassed by this material nature. The Lord's own energy, but it works in a different way. If you don't surrender to Krishna, it works in the opposite way. If you surrender to Krishna, yes, it works in other way. So, often we see, when compared to Indra done in the first case, right? He did a small offense. Often that's due to neglect, we discussed. Now often we see in our lives, sometimes we have heard, we have also seen that due to neglect, what happens? A person, while driving on the car, 1 minute of neglect, he sleeps on the steering wheel. What happens? The entire person in the car, they are dead. Just 1 minute. I've seen sometimes in India, many accidents. One person has put his hand outside of the traveling bus, and next minute, what happens? Some other lorry wala, he comes and hits, and he is lost, immobilized. Hand is gone. 1 minute of neglect. And I still remember when I was young too, a lorry was carrying a nice plain tin sheets, aluminum sheets, whatever you call. It was very, soft, and it's very thin layer. 2 scooter wallas, driving scooters, young guys, they're going very fast. The lorry applied brake. These guys go rammed. Both the heads were cut off. Very serious at that time in my place at Coimbatore. It was 2 heads cut off like Sudarshan Chakra. What do you say for this? The body is lying there. Neglect, not taking precautions, not being careful. Time and again we see this is happening. And it's also coming as an offense. So therefore, we are creating Vitrasura in our life daily. Yes? Depending upon the intensity, we are also creating. Not only Indra is creating Vitrasura, we are also creating. For which we have to pay the price. And therefore, we have to be very careful in our dealings. Our Vitrasura may be smaller when compared to Indra, but still, we have to face Vitrasura later on in our lives. So let us not create our Vitrasuras, because we have to suffer. All right? Okay. Now, there is also a famous idiom I was thinking, or a phrase you can say, dig your own grave, they say. Right? See, that is equivalent to this. We should be very careful, otherwise we are digging our own grave. Now, I've got a question for all of you. When we open the newspaper, The Age, Herald Sun, we don't read it, but once in a while we'll see, isn't it, what's going on. We see, sometimes I'll go through the Age paper just to see what is happening. We should know also what is happening. We do not have to be engrossed in that, just have a look. And this person died, that person was raped, this person's head was cut, that person was put in the prison. All about disaster news. Yeah? We are here. About other person's suffering, we hear in the paper. Generally, doesn't matter. These days, the headlines are that, isn't it? Correct? Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is also talking about distress of Indra. So what's the difference there? His paper and Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, both are the same. That's a question I'm posing to you. Yeah? See, we are talking about the distress of demigod. Not ordinary conditioned soul, demigod suffering. And then the paper is talking about conditioned soul. So what's the difference? What is the main thing? Krishna. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is with Krishna. It's talking about Krishna. Surrender to Krishna. Krishna is missing in the newspaper. They don't tell us a process, obviously. So distress is everywhere. Not only in the material world, not only in the heavenly planets where Indra lives, everywhere. But there is no distress in the spiritual world. There is only suffering in the material world. There is no suffering in the spiritual energy. In the spiritual world, there is no suffering, correct? No suffering. Only suffering in the material world, material energy. The moment we hold the material energy, suffering. In the verse number 42, purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about the three aspects of the Lord. Verse 42, purport. What are the three aspects? Brahmeti, three aspects of Lord. But the ultimate he's saying is Bhagavan. Yeah, very interesting. I was just kept on thinking, why? And finally I got some sense. Not that I'm saying I'm perfectly correct, but some sense I could derive. He was talking about the three, okay? So what Srila Prabhupada did in 42 is, he's spoken about a word in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Then he's talking about a verse in Bhagavad Gita. Then I was thinking, how these two are matching? Why did Srila Prabhupada refer these two? One from Bhagavatam, one from Bhagavad Gita. What is the correlation? Then something, it makes sense to me. He is talking the Bhagavatam where he says, yes, there are three aspects of the Lord. They are all aspects of the Lord, but Bhagavan is ultimate. And then, in the Bhagavad Gita, he talked about four kinds of people who surrender, who will surrender to Krishna. Okay? The four categories of people. After establishing that Bhagavan is a supreme, he says, there are four categories of people who surrender to the Lord. He's talking that. What are the four kinds of people who surrender to the Lord? So in other words, keep it simpler. One who is in poverty, he wants money. And second category is one who is in distress. The third category is inquisitive. And the fourth category is seeker of knowledge. It is said that most of the people belong to the first and the second category. The inquisitive and the seeker of knowledge, they're very rare. Generally, people in the lower people normally belong to first two categories. That is, one who's in poverty, they want riches, they want to enjoy. And other person who's in distress, they come to Krishna. But the other two categories are very rare. But Srila Prabhupada says, doesn't matter. One should offer devotional service to Krishna. So that's the point he's making. And in the verse 42, Srila Prabhupada is talking about the surrender aspect strongly. One must surrender to Krishna. One must surrender to Krishna. One must surrender to Krishna. So what we do, today we will take or we'll discuss a small story from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antya Kanda from 705 to 756. That category. This shows how a moment of surrender, what is that? A moment of surrender to Lord Nityananda will give you what? Will eliminate all your distress, including sins. it will establish you in devotional service, and on top of that, it's going to give you love of Godhead. That is what we are going to discuss. Now, before that, I just remembered one point. I will talk about the point and then we go back to the story. Yeah? So, again, coming back to Indra's story, first time, neglect, minor offense. Second time, serious, on his gross body, action he did, by killing his Guru Maharaj, priest. The first one, again, we discuss as a subtle. The second one is gross. And the second one, basically, he did in an angry mood. Angry, he was quite angry. How can you do that? You're meant to do for us, but you did some oblations to the demons who are related to you. And therefore, he got angry and he sliced all the 3 heads. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita 16, what does he say? Lust, anger, greed, they are the doors to the hellish planet. Very, very important verse. So we thought we should just click on that, link on that and go back. They are the doors of the hellish planet. And Krishna says, also, not only he says, that will degrade the soul. Degradation of the soul happens, one, when we are in contact with lust, anger and greed. See, Indra's case, he was angry, he did that, and then again he has to suffer. So just a point, remember, very, very important. Lust, anger, greed. The doors of hellish planet. You should be away from that. Yeah? Okay. Hey boys, are you ready for a story? Now you can stop. No problem. You can listen to the story, yeah? Because you can't listen and also concentrate, isn't it? If you want story, you can listen. But you want to draw, that's fine, up to you. So we'll be discussing a story. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he took initiation, he wants to spend most of the time in Puri, Orissa. Bhagavan, Lord wants to spend. So he asked his dear Nityananda Prabhu, I will be here, I will not come. You go and you preach your preaching activity in Bengal. Navadip, you start preaching. Nityananda, you are good enough. Let me want to spend most of the time in Jagannath Puri. So, in Navadip, Lord Nityananda chose to live in the house of a devotee by name. Huh? If one person says, do we have to say the same person's name again by anyone? You don't give another name? How do you know he's the right person? You can give other options too. Hiranya Pandita. Have you heard that? Very advanced devotee. Hiranya Pandita. Now, Nityananda Prabhu chose to live in the devotee's house by name Hiranya Pandita. At the time when he was living, there were a group of thieves. You know thieves? Robbers. Have you seen them? No. You go outside to Dank Street, okay? You see a lot of, they're all, everyone. Lot of thieves were there, okay? In that community. In Navadip also. Imagine, Navadip also, there were a lot of thieves. So surprising, isn't it? This is because it comes in Chaitanya Bhagavat. I was surprised. So many thieves. And not only that, as the story unfolds, you see what are they doing, okay? Now these thieves have got a boss. Leader. Okay? Thieves leader. Now this guy was a Brahmana. Okay? Thief Brahmana. But what happened? Over a period of time, he left his religious activities. He became a very wicked person. He started robbing. And also started killing people, murdering people. Brahmana. Because of what? Dollars. He wants money. But there he wants rupees in India. But he wanted money. So what happened? This thief, right? Thief, as you know, when you talk to a thief, they look at all your bodies, what we can steal and all that. So this thief, where the thief the boss of the thief, when he was just going around, he saw Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Oh, so magnificent, so wonderful, glorious form. Lord was wearing bracelets, armlets, necklace, earrings studded with diamond and all that, necklace, everything, completely decked. Now this thief leader, he saw Lord Nityananda. Oh, I got all the wealth in one place, the body of Nityananda. So I need not have to steal for my life. Okay, I got a tax lotto. Everything in one place, all fully, very powerful. But little did he knew that Lord Nityananda is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's no difference, in fact, between Krishna and Nityananda. Because the first expansion, and is a guru, Hadi Guru. Yeah, so powerful. Supreme is it's almost equivalent to Krishna, Balaram and Krishna. So powerful. So, and he was fully having, and nor did he knew that the Lord, what he was wearing, is his spiritual expansion. The Lord is not wearing material things, yeah? The Lord was wearing spiritual objects. So it's very powerful. He did not know, he did not realize that because he's a thief. So what happened? He went to his teammates, they had a team building. They had a team meeting on Teams. And they discussed. He said, my dear fellows, I've got a wonderful opportunity. We are going to rob a person who's fully, decked up with, all these ornaments. So we'll make a plan. They said, okay, on such a date, okay, they sent an invite to all the members. On such a date, we are going to rob. So what happened? On that day, they collected lot of people, thieves, 20 thieves. And what they did, they took all the knives, daggers, everything they equipped. Let us see who can kill us. We are going to take the jewelry. Do anyone know this story anyway? You know the story? Okay, that's okay. One more. Anyone? No, that's okay. Only one. So what they did was, they went, okay? Along with them, they also took a spy, a thief spy. The spy also went. So they hid in a place and they told the spy, go and see what he's doing. Okay? Tell us the right time and we'll go and then kill and all that, all the people and take away the jewelry. So the first time, the spy went, he looked at it, and after he was not coming, after some time he came. He said, they're eating nice prasadam, nice food, nice. And they kept on eating. They're not stopping. Because when Lord Nityananda was taking, he was taking every morsel, everything as a remnants of the Lord. Relishing, not like us. Krishna has eaten the remnants. Mahaprasadam. They were relishing and eating. This is my Lord has taken. They were eating. And they kept on eating. Time was going 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And this guy was very restless. He went and said, they're eating. I don't think, it's possible. They said, don't worry. After they eat, they'll become tired. And then it's easier for us. The thief's boss said. So they waited for some time. Now, Lord Nityananda, does he know all this or no? Does he know what is going on? Yes? You're right. He knows everything. Then he said, fine, let us have some fun with them. So he's through his power, mystic power, he made everyone to sleep. So all of them slept the whole night. Morning, the crow was cracking, and they woke up, and then they saw, what is this morning time? What did we do? We did not we did not steal. So they were blaming each other. What has happened? We have missed. So you ruined my life. You doing. And they were blaming. And finally, the thief's boss said, I know what has done. We have not pleased Mother Durga. We did a big offense. So by supplying meat and wine to Goddess Durga, we will be able to conquer in our mission. So let us offer. So they offered meat and wine to Durga Devi. They did not know that Durga Devi is an agent of the Supreme Lord. Again, they did not fail. So second time, what they did? They went. This time with more weapons. They went. And there, when they went and saw, they saw huge gods with nice weapons. They were guarding the 4 sides of the house. And they were chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. They were chanting, gods. Then these thieves are wondering, what is going on? Maybe they thought Nityananda Prabhu is a government servant. So he has employed some people from staff from the government, and they're doing. So they tried for some more time. No, the gods are very strong. They thought if we go, the gods will kill all of us. So maybe it's not a good. We'll go after some time. So they returned back, second time. After 10 days or so, third time, they thought, now we want that gold. We cannot stop. We want it at any cost. So after some 10 days, third time they went. What happened? They took more weapons this time than the second time. And third time when they went, Nityananda Prabhu thought, I have to teach them a lesson. They kept on coming. They're not learning the mistakes. So what did he do? The moment they approached near the house, all of them became blind. Trying to steal my jewelry, not knowing my worth. So all of them became blind. So what happened? One fellow went into the ditch, and the mosquitoes and scorpions are biting. The other fellow got into the pit with full of thorns. It is biting. The other fellow somewhere else and broke his leg and all that. They were all crying in pain. Now what did our Indra do? So Indra, who has come here, Indra wanted to help Lord Nityananda. That is why Indra is a devotee, correct? He cannot stand that. What is it? You want to steal Lord Nityananda's jewelry and you want to kill him? What do you think? So Indra sent torrential rain, hailstorm, very serious one. They were shivering, crying and all that. At that time, one moment, the thief's head had a change of the heart. 1 minute. He thought, maybe I'm doing a wrong thing. See, repentance is very good. Maybe I'm doing a wrong thing. That Nityananda Prabhu is really the Supreme Lord. And I should not have done it. I've done a big mistake. Now he prayed, whether I'm going to live or not, I am going to surrender to him. That's it. He thought. Next minute, Nityananda Prabhu knew, and they were out of the distress, and all of them got eyes back. They're able to see. Then this guy, the thief, he ran into the house of Hiranya Pandita. Very good. Haigree was listening. Hiranya Pandita house, they go. They fall at the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. Like how we fall to Radha Vallabha. Just surrendering. He said, I will want to surrender to you. Please tell me, instruct me. I listen to you. I am surrendered soul from today. I don't want anything. Oh, you have saved me from the greatest disaster. Then Nityananda Prabhu said, okay, from today onwards, you stop all this nonsense. No more stealing. No more killing. You have to chant Hare Krishna and eat only prasadam. They said, okay. Not only that, all your companion should also change. They should do the preaching activity. Can you do that? They said, yes, we will do anything because you have given us rebirth. And then Nityananda Prabhu, what did he do? He took that garland he was wearing and put on the thief's boss. And he took his lotus feet and touched on the thief's head. Nityananda Prabhu's lotus. All his sins went. He was, in full ecstasy, and he got the love of Godhead. So what is the turning point here? In this story, what is the turning point? That one moment, change of the heart, change of the feeling, change of the intention, that yes, I am going to surrender to Krishna. That part only Krishna wants. He doesn't care what you were before. Are you a meat eater? I don't care. Are you a etc., etc.? I don't care. But are you going to surrender from today onwards and stop all the nonsense you have been doing so far? Can you do that? Yes, I will do. Then yes, you have got Krishna's mercy and he will protect you for life. So this is what we learn. And this is what Srila Prabhupada is talking in verse number 42. Surrender at the lotus feet of Krishna. Doesn't matter. Just do and surrender. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. And how do we, as conditioned soul, how do we start this process? How do we start this process? By surrender. By hearing and chanting. This is our preliminary, fundamental aspect of devotion service to Krishna. Hearing and chanting. We start chanting Krishna's name. We start hearing about Krishna's glories. And slowly our surrender process begins. And we get the mercy of the Guru and Krishna. Yes? So are we going to surrender to Krishna? For a person who has already surrendered, no. But we are talking about people who are going to surrender. See, such a mercy, right? From Nityananda Prabhu. So, mind you guys, there were also thieves and robbers during Nityananda, during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. So therefore, I am not surprised now. Because it's basically material world and Kali Yuga. Yeah? So anything happen. So the only solution for us is the lotus feet of Krishna, which is constantly showering the shower of delicious nectar. This is what is happening in Radha Vallabha's lotus feet. Constantly it is showering the nectar. So we must go and take it. Lotus feet of Krishna. The question which Mahatma Prabhu always asks, what's the speciality of the lotus feet? This is what it is. It's constantly showering the nectar of immortality. Anything you call. Yeah? Okay, so we will stop here. And we ask any questions or comments. Yes, Prabhu. I don't know if I'm able to answer your question, Prabhu, but I'll still try. Prabhu, Mike. Tell us something about Hiranyapurna. Prabhu, you have to refer to Chaitanya Bhagavat. I know he is an advanced devotee. That is why Nityananda Prabhu chose to live in his house. Prabhu, give this mic to Anuruddha Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. In this verse and in the purport, it's mentioned that the demigods know that the Lord is omniscient, right? He's omniscient. And the devotees know that. The demigods are devotees. They know that. And so, theoretically then, there's no need to petition Krishna for protection. Right? There's no need to... And in fact, in the purport, Prabhupada says that a pure devotee doesn't petition Krishna for anything. Yet, even though the demigods know that they don't need to petition Krishna for anything, they still do. Right? So, first question is, what kind of devotees are they? And if they know that Krishna is the Supreme, yet they're still petitioning him for material things, right? This is a problem, right? So, and we can understand the demigods are very elevated and exalted personalities. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the positions that they are. But there seems to be a problem here, because if they're very elevated at the same time, why are they still behaving like neophytes? Assuming that that's what they are. So then, and we notice, or at least I notice that depending on Krishna for, just for, and not asking for anything is, it's okay in theory, but in practice it's not so easy to do. And we can see that here with the demigods. So I guess the question is, how do we get to that point of surrender, being surrendered to Krishna and free, genuinely free, not intellectually or just theoretically free from that tendency to, seek benefit for ourselves? There's a question.
Thanks, Prabhu, for the question. It's a big question. Okay. So, what Prabhu is saying is, the we have been talking about Indra and his team. Okay, Indra and various demigods. Yeah, they are on an elevated stage because they're demigods. They're more than human beings. Yet, sometimes, they do serious mistakes. Yeah? So in one sense, they're devotees of Krishna, but still they're doing serious mistakes. Why is it? How is it possible? Am I right, Prabhu? The question?
That's a statement, not a question.
So that's what, you're...
They're elevated,
but still they...
Not very advanced.
Yes. Yeah, conditioned, yeah.
They're looking at themselves, whereas we aspire to be pure devotees. Or at least we should understand that approaching Krishna for material benefit is not really what we're supposed to be doing. A devotee doesn't aspire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what we tend to do. We see that in the demigods. We see that in our own behavior. How do we learn from the demigods' mistakes and become a pure devotee as opposed to a sadhana?
So actually there are two types of devotees. Yeah? Bhagavad Gita talks about chapter 2. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 talks about two types of devotees, which is Sakama and Akama devotees. Sakama devotees they are devotees actually. They are also like us, not practicing devotees, they are devotees, but they've got material attachments. But akama devotees are pure devotees. They don't want anything to do in the material world. They want only Krishna's service. Day after day, life after life. That's what they want. But sakama are not like that. Yeah? Given a chance, what is in it for me? But the difference between, as Prabhu pointed out, the difference between demigods and us is all the time we are suffering and we want help. But the demigods, momentary, only very few times. How many times? Few times here and there. Once he got into the trouble, another trouble, and they learn also. But we constantly put into this. And the demigods are the one which is giving miseries to us also. Because one of the three miseries, Adi Bhautik, Adi Atmik, Adi Daivik, that is demigods who are giving miseries to us. Yeah? So therefore, Prabhu is asking, how do we understand? Because they are also, mixed devotees, and they are also conditioned, and they are doing mistake. So what do we learn from that is, we should start moving slowly from sakama. See, all of us to start, we are neophyte, and then we gradually move to sakama, and then to akama. We must endeavor to become pure devotee. This is what Srila Prabhupada wants for this ISKCON institution. He wants everyone to be a pure devotee, gradually, eventually. But right now, we may not be. And the famous example which Srila Prabhupada says, we are all mangoes, but some may be ripe mangoes, some may be raw. But we are mangoes, we have come to Krishna. And therefore, we should try to move from where to where? Sakama to akama. That should be our goal. That's what. Yes, Mataji.
But we just continue this discussion. Like, first of all, it's not unusual to be
Give the.
a demigod. Thank you.
How do we do? By constantly, we have to gradually move up the ladder through Krishna conscious, Prabhu. That's the only way. There's no other way other than Krishna consciousness. Yeah? Consciously. Because basically Krishna conscious goes on a ladder, right? Basically, you can say renunciation and austerities. Yeah? So slowly increase our austerity and renunciation. Knowledge and austerities. So gradually as the knowledge increases, we get more and more attraction with the Lord. And as our renunciation increases, we have got less and less attachment for the body. Isn't it? See, what is basically the Vedic foundation is moving from body to soul. Isn't it? Why are we practicing Krishna conscious? Because we're moving from body to soul. Once we realize, we are a completely, soul, then our attachment will be only for Krishna. But at this stage, we are not. And therefore, we should increase our knowledge and renunciation. The more and more knowledge about Krishna will help us to come closer to Krishna. The more and more renunciation helps us to go away from the bodily demands. Prabhu, you want to add anything, Prabhu? This is what. And following, the instructions. You be the runner, okay?
I'm not sure whether austerity or even learning, because here we know the demigods know that they don't need to petition, but still they do. So they know, right? So it's not theoretical. It's interesting, isn't it? It's not a. It has to be, and even, you can try and become more renounced, but that doesn't get rid of material desires. Anybody notice that? That's right. That's right. So, yep. And it's very interesting because in our we have the 9 items of devotional service, right? That's our devotional practice. And I think you hit the nail. You hit earlier on. You made the point that more hearing and chanting. That's that. And that hearing and chanting is not necessarily to accumulate knowledge, just learning. Because, at school, we go, well, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. We do that. And so we know, right, our tables, right? But more important than that is, and you learn this as soon as you go to school. Your parents give you, my parents used to give me 2 shillings on a Monday morning to buy my lunch. And I knew with 20 shillings I could get a pie and a cream bun. But I had then 4 pence left over. And so with 4 pence, what was I going to do? Meant I used to buy these little sweets, right? So you start applying, math very quickly and learn how to do it. So, we need to learn how to apply the hearing and chanting, and also especially the chanting, to that purification, to becoming pure-hearted and I guess really connected with Krishna. Because when we have that connection, and really that's bhakti. Bhakti is more important than jnana and tapasya. And somehow connecting with that bhakti, and especially through chanting Hare Krishna, I think, that's Shravanam, Kirtanam, they're the basic processes. Then when we get that connection with Krishna, we automatically feel protected. We don't have to ask Krishna, please look after me. Right, which is what's the problem here with the demigods. They're in trouble. They know they shouldn't be approaching Krishna for things, but they still do. Out of habit, out of material consideration. So you mentioned it earlier on, that it's the practice of bhakti that connects us with Krishna. Now, automatically jnana comes, automatically renunciation comes, but most important is getting that connection. And then when we have that connection, then we don't worry about the other things. We don't have to, we don't. And so it's very interesting because the demigods, even though they have that connection with Krishna, still they forget. Quite a lesson to be learned. Yeah. Yeah, and even as devotees, we sometimes can fall into that trap.
But the beauty is, immediately he realizes, he repents for it.
There's a what?
He understands his mistake and he repents for it. So that's a
seems to be struggling a little bit because he keeps on. He realised, oops, I chopped off his heads. Ooh, that might have been a mistake. It's we need to get these. We need to fix up these microphones. Because very often, every time I talk to somebody who's listening to the classes, they say, can you please make sure that the questions are heard? But anyway, yes. So it's Indra and the demigods are kind of like prototype devotees, but also at the well, as Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada that's why Prabhupada quotes that verse. What is it? Ato atati jigyasu jnani cha. The most advanced is the devotee who's a pure devotee, actually. And so the demigods kind of set the example sometimes of what not to do, which is curious.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'm not sure if this is the way to look at it, but then it's not easy to get the position of a demigod. So those souls who have got that position and they're serving the Lord in their respective positions, they're of course very elevated in consciousness, and they have been given such high level of responsibilities in the material universe. But would it be that they now have this service towards the Lord, and that's why they want to keep that service, and that's why they are upset that they don't have it anymore? Because in general we see devotees, there is let's say there's a conflict because of sharing of resources, and then every devotee has this argument that we want to serve the Lord, and we need these resources, and the others also say the same. So this could be. I'm just trying to think, how does this apply to devotees? Because they had a position, and Indra he's the king of the heavenly planets, and he has that position. And when he doesn't have it, he can't serve the Lord from any other position, so he wants it back. So similarly, devotees, when there is a scarcity of resources, then they vie for the resources, and then they want so that they can serve the Lord. So where do we draw the line as to you serve the Lord, at the same time you make sure you do it in a reasonable manner, whether you don't offend others or commit offenses like Indra's. What Indra is doing at this large scale, the devotees in general do it to each other at a smaller scale, but we're all doing it. So the question is, where do you draw the line that you want to serve the Lord, and in trying to do that, how selfish can you become about hoarding the resources or claiming the resources then for yourself?
Mataji, for service of pure devotional service, material opulence is not required. We see in the case of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kulavechara Sridhara, his house was, his roof was basically, there were holes in his roof, and it was, water was coming through during rainy season, but he did not mind. So pure devotional service, as the definition goes by, given by Rupa Goswami, is Anya Abhilashita Sunyam, beyond jnana and karma. That is pure. But what we are doing is mixed devotion service, and therefore we accept something for us too. But that is why we said slowly we have to move on to the pure level, Sakama devotees. So everyone who's in the material world, they want something for me, and then I can give you something back, like that. This is mixed devotion service. This is, in reality, this is, Srila Prabhupada did not want this, but we have to come somewhere, to this point and then start. And therefore, we come and gradually, we get purified. That is why, as Prabhu said, Bhakti is a goal. I will do devotion service only if Krishna gives me a BMW. Is that okay? But pure devotee says, no, I don't want. I will walk for Krishna. See? It's easy to say, I'm saying. It doesn't mean that, I am on a Uttama. No, it's easier to talk, I'm just saying. But gradually, this is what Srila Prabhupada wants. International Society for Krishna Conscious is for pure devotion service. Only to please Krishna. keep our personal that side. But it's not easy either for us, because we are brought up in that culture. So gradually only we can move. We cannot imitate. I cannot say, Rupa Goswami, every day, he was in different tree, and from tomorrow onwards, I'm going to go to St. Kilda, and, in Katani Gardens, I'm going to live. It's not possible. Gradually, it's out of love. Bhakti is love. And gradually, renunciation, as Prabhu said, it's a byproduct of bhakti. Whatever knowledge and renunciation, it comes gradually, naturally, due to bhakti. It's not an extra endeavor. It naturally comes. So it's a gradual process. Prabhu? So that is simple, Mataji. If that is a question, tell Prabhu, he will allocate more funds, Mataji. Then I was alarmed, with the question. Hey, Prabhu, Haribo. You have to be quick.
Indra was fighting with the demons, right? That's pretty straightforward. We see the material facility as belonging to Krishna, and it should be reclaimed for Krishna's service. And so when there's competition, or when there's competition for facility or paraphernalia, let's put it that way, right? The devotees see it and they'll take it for Krishna. They'll use it for Krishna. But what Priti's talking about is what happens when the devotees have got the facility and then somebody says, my service is better than your service, and so therefore I should have the best facility. Is that right, Priti? Yeah, this is flowers. Conflicts of flowers. I'm serving the Shalagram Shilas, and so therefore they should have the best flowers. Or I'm serving Radha Ballabha, so therefore they should have the best flowers. Right? Is that right? Anybody familiar with this problem? You know what I say to the women? I say, has anybody stolen your flowers? And how do you know? How do you know that you didn't get the best flowers this morning? Somebody else went through all of the flowers and took all the best. So what's the solution? What's the solution to this problem? Huh? Yeah. Go and buy your own flowers. Yeah. When Bhakti used to be the manager of the candle factory. Funny story. This is a funny story. Well, at least I think it's funny. We used to have a big competition over getting particular coloured candles. And there would be fights sometimes over who would have what candles. So there'd be a scramble after breakfast to get to the candle factory, and then the first people there would take all of the so-called good candles and off they'd go, and then everybody else would say, oh, they took all the good candles. So I remember asking Bhavananda, we're supposed to be living in a society of devotees and everybody's supposed to cooperate and work together. But sometimes, in the material world, it's a dog-eat-dog world, right? But in the temple, it seems like it's a swan-eat-swan world. So anyway, competition is natural. Right? Competition is natural. But we have to curb our, natural competitive spirit with the desire. We have to work together also. So that competition shouldn't become, materialistic. It needs to be cooperative. Competition is okay, but we also need to cooperate. So anyway, Gopeshwara was a devotee who joined around about the same time we did. And anyway, Gopeshwara and I were sent to Tasmania to sell candles, right? And it was in the middle. It was at this time of the year. It was June, late May, early June, right? And we spent 4 weeks in Tassie, and we used to get our candles shipped by boat down to Hobart on pallets, and then we'd go to that because we'd sell out, and then we need more candles. And so what the devotees did was, or what Bhakta did to us was, we got sent all of the Christmas candle leftovers, right? And they were not good candles. They were terrible. They were a green and red with a white, and they just weren't very... And that's why we had lots left over, because we couldn't even sell them at Christmas time. And that was the best time to sell them. So anyway, we were in Hobart, and we were stuck with a pallet full of these stupid candles, right? But have a guess what we discovered. What we discovered was that actually if that's all you had and you were enthusiastic about selling something, then that's what you sold. And we sold just as well the leftovers. And, we couldn't do anything about it because the factory was in Melbourne and we were in Hobart. What's that? No, we sold them at the same. We might have, I don't know, but we certainly sold them all. And so, I guess, you learn to work with what you've got. And sometimes, the flowers that we get, or the paraphernalia you get, the veggies you get, or whatever, not always the best. And so we have to work with what we've been given. We can't be too precious about, our service, because everybody's service ultimately is for the benefit of the deities, benefit for Krishna, the benefit for preaching. And so, we need to appreciate and value the services of others, especially in ISKCON, because there's always going to be a difference of opinion. And very often my experience is in order to keep people working together, you actually have to shelve your own personal ambitions. You'd like to do something in a particular way, but you've got 10 other people who want to do it in a different way. A majority of them want to do it differently to the way you want to do it, so you have to say, okay, all right, that's what we'll do. And that's more pleasing to Krishna than fighting over, hey, I'm the better devotee and my service is better than yours and I should have all the best facility. What do you think? Yeah, work together. How's that sound? So these are the flowers that you've got. Like it or lump it. Right? And of course, in those days, well, certainly when I joined, we didn't get the quantity of flowers that we get now. You'd have to go out and pick your own flowers, and that often meant, driving out to Kew and checking out the gardens out there and seeing what you could pinch. We don't have to do that anymore, thank goodness. Yeah, we're getting different colours now. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? We're in an interesting situation now, because have a guess what's happening to flowers and vegetables and petrol and electricity. Anybody know what's happening? Yeah. Price of vegetables has gone up by 12.7%. Right? Flowers, the cost of flowers has gone up. So we may be heading into a year or two of austerity that we have not experienced, most of us, in the last 20 or 30 or 40 or even 50 years. we're going to be... So don't be surprised if your flowers are less. But the requirement to cooperate will be more. Huh?